a question that a lot of people have, including myself, is should you pay off your debt and become debt-free, or should you save or invest your money? As someone who has been able to pay off $14,000 in debt right before my marriage ceremony, I paid off $14,000 worth of debt because I wanted to feel lighter and I wanted to feel like I was stepping into this new chapter of my life with less baggage. Because in that moment, paying off my debt felt like the more urgent thing to do. But since we've got married and this past few years, I've been prioritizing investing and saving my money. I mean, not to say that if you don't pay off your debt, it means that you're not setting yourself up for success in your marriage, but this was just something that felt like it was super important for me. And that is why whenever I hear this question of paying off debt or choosing to invest or save your money, I always look back and think about that particular situation. I once saw a lady talk about mortgage payoff, and then she said, don't ever pay off your mortgage because you're just not gonna make a lot of money. And when I saw that video, all I could think about is a lot of people give this type of generic advice, but they don't understand that when it comes to money and personal finance, it's exactly that. It's personal. For some people, they value that peace of mind more than any amount of return in the stock market. And as someone who comes from a country where debt is not very prevalent, and a lot of times you buy and you pay one time, I sometimes wake up in the morning worrying so much about my mortgage. Even though I've paid off my debt in the past, after we got a home, we now have about 6 figures worth of debt that we're constantly paying every single month. And while people tell you congratulations on buying the house, I sometimes feel like I'm just renting from the bank because I don't even own up to 80% of this house fully on our own. Most of that money is still being paid to the bank. And of course, if there's a default, what typically happens is that your house is given back to the bank. So yes, we have a house, but that is just like your name is on the title. To fully actually own the house, you have to pay off all of that debt. So I really struggle with this whole idea of, should I go all in and pay off my mortgage, pay off my student loans? I don't have any student loans, but I've seen people ask about student loans. Or should I invest that money and try and get some returns from the stock market? So let's take a look at the stock market briefly, shall we? So the stock market historically, over a ton of decades, has returned about 10%. But to be conservative, let's go with 6%. So if you really want to be logical, you can take a look at your numbers and figure out how much is the interest rate on the loan that you're considering paying off and how much will you make in the stock market. This is also very tricky though, because even if you have a lower percentage on your mortgage, for example, what you're not also considering are all the other fees that you put into the house. A lot of houses need maintenance, you pay for things over the course of different years, and then when you actually want to sell, you might also have to put some money right back into making the house sellable. And also there are renovations and small things that you change while you're living in the house to make it more homey. And again, that's why there's no wrong or right answer, even after the numbers have been run. If you're someone that is really looking for a huge profit, you have to consider all of the different things that you spend on and really ask yourself, is it profitable for me to do this? But if you're someone that is looking for peace of mind, then it really boils down to the values that you have for yourself. So for example, I'm the type of person that outside of this mortgage, I don't feel comfortable carrying any debt. We also had a car loan, but that has now been paid off. Actually, we have one payment left, so by the time you see this video, that would have been paid off. Then other places that I typically pull debt from are my credit card, line of credit. The debt that I paid right before our marriage was from the line of credit, which I had pulled out to pay for something that was important. And I found myself just not feeling very peaceful about that. I just felt like it was this heavy weight that I was carrying, and I just didn't want to go into my marriage with that feeling. In fact, I thought that I was looking for, at that time I didn't really know what it was, but over time I've come to realize that I value financial security and stability. It's something that will give me a lot of peace of mind, and you just can't put a price tag on that. While I was trying to pay off my debt, one thing that kept coming up was that I felt like God was trying to teach me contentment and how to be in a season where everything is not perfect. Because even right now we have more debt, and it's so easy to freak out about that. And I'm just trusting God and using all those things that I learned in that other season. But all in all, when it comes down to choosing whether to invest or pay off your debt, I think it can also be seasonal. I don't think that you will always be a person that always pays off your debt, and you'll always be a person that always saves/invests first. I think that seasons can change, like I shared about myself. Like in one season, it felt super heavy and I felt like I needed to let go of that load or weight. And then in another season, which is now that we're married, I actually don't prioritize a debt payoff. Like our car, we took the whole 3 years to pay it off. We didn't fast forward it. And it just made sense to do it that way. There was no urgency. It didn't feel heavy. It felt okay. We were able to manage it. So you have to also ask yourself, like, how does this debt make you feel? Does holding on to it affect you in other areas of your life? And also, why does it have to be binary? Why does it have to be either or? Either you pay off your debt or you save/invest. Is there a world where we're able to do a hybrid method where you're paying off your debt as much as you can, but you're also investing as much as you can? And what would that look like? Again, it boils down to, whether you want to prioritize the payoff, then you can put more money in there. You could do 70-30, or you could do a 50-50, or you could do a 90-10, like whatever works for you, right? But I do want to say that this is also an option. You don't have to only choose between paying off your debt or investing, even though I feel like picking one goal often helps to speed things up. And I've done this when I was trying to pay off the debt, and I've also done this when I was trying to hit a financial milestone in investing. And I think that if you pick a goal and you just lock in, just prioritize that goal and just contribute, that can make a huge difference faster. So let me know your thoughts. Would you rather pay off your debt first, save first, or do both?